You will be able to retire your grandkids and your grandkids' your entire bloodline with XRP. Following the admission of the Genius Act into law by Trump and then the Clarity Act, which is on the way to the Senate, soon to be sent to Trump's desk, I am sure, the level of adoption is already starting to accelerate. And as we can hear in this interview with Shyla Warren, ex-head of blockchain and digital assets at the World Economic Forum and also ex-CEO at Crypto Council for Innovation, which by the way is the same institution that filed an amicus brief in support of Ripple against the SEC in 2022, she just confirmed that some altcoin will emerge as the new Bitcoin, seeing similar levels of explosive and sudden adoption and price appreciation now that we have this regulatory clarity. Listen closely here.
I think you're going to see more and more embedding of this entire ecosystem slowly over the course of time within traditional financial systems.
So what's the biggest takeaway then for those investors who might say, I'm not in it, I want to take part in terms of the gains, but I'm worried about all the volatility?
Well, I think there's going to be continued volatility in altcoins, right? And so sector by sector, we have sectors within crypto as well. With Bitcoin, it's about what you want your exposure to be. And anybody, I think you've seen this already, that's well established. With altcoins, Ethereum being the granddaddy altcoin, the question is going to be, what's your appetite for that kind of volatility? Over time, some altcoin will emerge as the Bitcoin, if you will, or
here I come. Oh, here.
And some altcoin will emerge as the Bitcoin, if you will, or of the stable coin of the pack. And it's a question of what your appetite is for that. But certainly, I think we're seeing a lot of folks who quietly, the way they were with Bitcoin, they were very quiet about it for a little while, and suddenly they were loud. You're seeing some of that happening in the markets with alts as well. And we should expect to continue to see that to happen. But it's all going to depend on your risk appetite, as it always should.
Now, considering her extensive knowledge of the blockchain space and connections in support of Ripple and XRP during that lawsuit, the fact that she stated at the end just there, as you heard, that these institutions were very quiet about Bitcoin until suddenly they were loud. Think about it, it's quite obvious that she believes XRP will emerge as the new Bitcoin. Institutions, during mainstream media interviews, be it CNBC on Bloomberg or Fox News, they always highlight Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana as assets they're looking at, but never ever a peep about XRP. And why is that? It's crazy considering Ripple and XRP have the most connections to the banks all over the world, central banks around the world, and partake in pretty much all policy summits and meetings with governments, again, all around the world. Why is XRP being purposely suppressed and kept quiet by institutions? Simply put, because it's obvious. They want to get ahead of the retail market, and apparently retailers are still not here yet. Most haven't even invested into Bitcoin yet, so think about how little therefore is invested into XRP. Armed with this knowledge, I figured, have a little bit of fun, shall we? Let's ask Elon Musk's AI software Grok for its price prediction for XRP by the end of the year. As you can see, I asked Grok a question: can you provide a price prediction for XRP by the end of 2025, and also gave it some key points to take into consideration for these predictions, like the fact that XRP and Bitcoin have just recently surpassed their all-time highs. This is off the back of Trump signing the Genius Act into law, the Clarity Act being forwarded to the Senate in a very bipartisan matter, the $10 trillion Charles Schwab just announcing they'll offer Bitcoin and Ethereum trading services. 91% of financial institutions will be migrating to the ISO 20022 standard by November 2025. All of that, and Grok took it into account, highlighting it in a very easy to understand format here. XRP with Bitcoin, with the current price action, the all-time high has been fueled by increasing institutional interest and favourable regulatory developments. The Genius Act, its mission validates that crypto industry and could boost confidence in crypto and confidence in assets like XRP. The Clarity Act, also being passed in such a bipartisan matter, is very bullish, indicating it therefore may pass the Senate and go to Trump's desk faster than expected, and reduce any and all lingering uncertainty around XRP's regulatory status, which is already pretty clear after their legal victory against the SEC. That's currently still happening. Then you've got this one here, the $10 trillion Charles Schwab. While not directly mentioning XRP, The decision they have now done to offer trading services for Bitcoin and Ethereum is huge, as this liquidity could and likely will spill into XRP being the third largest digital asset. And that's not even taking into account that XRP could be added later on to Charles Schwab to start offering trading services following some spot XRP ETF filings. The ERC-2022 migration is also significant for XRP as it's compliant and it's designed to standardize global financial messaging and facilitate faster and more efficient cross-border payments. And XRP stands at the top, with partnerships like Bank of America and Santander already using Ripple's technology for such purposes. Elon Musk Grok also adds ETF and institutional developments and Trump's crypto strategic reserve to the equation as well, which further creates more accurate predictions around the potential value of XRP, while also pulling sources and predictions from Ripple's partnerships and other institutions with more speculative predictions and then some critical analysis as well. Now, I asked all this to Grok, although I did forget two key factors, like Ripple's prime brokerage hidden road acquisition and BNY Mellon being a prime custodian of RLUSD for Ripple stablecoin. So I added that later on here. What would XRP's prediction be if you also took into account Ripple's acquisition of Hidden Road and BNY Mellon being a prime custodian of RLUSD? So after all this information here and adding those facts at the end of it as well, Grok Elon Musk has predicted that worst case, XRP will be valued between $5 to $7. The most likely case, XRP will be valued at $8 to $12, and then, in the bullish sense, driven by ETF filings, ERC-2022 adoption, and also widespread institutional adoption with Hidden Road's integration of RUSD and the XRP ledger, XRP this cycle by the end of 2025 will top out at $15 to $25. XRP currently being valued at $3.44, down roughly 0.25% on the daily time frame. This means XRP has a 7 to 8 potential X. So 7 to 8x in value potential from where it's at right now. And for those of us who were here through thick and thin throughout the lawsuit in the XRP trenches down when it was at 50 cents, if you see a $25 XRP, that is a 50x in your investment this year, this cycle this year, which is absolutely insane. Now, of course, none of this is financial advice. Always do your own research, of course. Disclaimer, not financial advice. But Grok is simply highlighting that XRP is quite evidently well positioned to see significant growth in this year by 2025, driven by its inclusion in the Trump US Strategic Crypto Reserve and regulatory developments and more massive TradFi legacy institutions jumping into crypto and, of course, Ripple's huge partnerships. Once more, some altcoin will emerge as the Bitcoin, and it looks like it will be XRP. So if you don't want to miss out on the incoming opportunities and much more to come as well, then come much more here in the VIP. wop.com/coin factory. Alpha institutional research documents, learn what smart money is saying to their clients and ask ahead of the retail market, educational videos, trade alerts, private live streams, and so much more. Check it all out. 7-day free trial as well, get people behind the curtains. And as always, remember, do your own research, don't look short term, think long term. If they're interested, link down below in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.